Hello viewers, welcome to the Editorial Analysis by Drishti IAS. In this section, we regularly take editorials from various newspapers and news portals for a better understanding of various issues happening in India and around the globe. In this section, we first try to link the editorial with our UPSC syllabus. Then we go analytical in order to understand some key points and at last some important concepts. Dear viewers, we truly hope that you like this initiative taken by Drishti IAS, and your feedbacks are important for us. So kindly feel free to give your important feedbacks in the comment section. So without any further delay, let's commence our session.
Dear viewer, this video is available in Hindi as well. If you wish to watch it, please visit our Hindi YouTube channel, Drishti IAS. For your convenience, the link for this video in Hindi has been provided in the description below.
Today's editorial is taken from the Economic Times, published on 2nd of December 2020. The title of today's editorial is Afghan Challenge for President-elect Joe Biden. If we try to link today's editorial with our UPSC syllabus, we can link it with GS Paper 2, which has sections that include polity, constitution, governance, and primarily with the section that includes international relations. Some key points from today's editorial. A key task before President Joe Biden would be to contain the damage brought by his predecessor decision to withdraw most troops, save those required to protect local American facilities from Afghanistan. Now, one of the most important challenges before President-elect Joe Biden would be to actually contain the damage which is probably coming because of an agreement that was signed by his predecessor with Taliban, the Doha Agreement. Now, under the Doha Agreement, Americans have promised that they will bring out all the US troops from Afghanistan within next 14 months. There will be only a few soldiers left, and that too would be protecting the local American facilities in Afghanistan. The Taliban also have not kept their side of agreement struck in Doha, having unleashed numerous attacks on Afghanistan's state and society, piling up dead bodies. Taliban, on the other hand, has also not kept the promise that he did during the signing of the Doha Agreement. After the agreements were signed, Taliban has continuously unleashed numerous attacks on Afghanistan's state and society, and it has caused a number of numerous people dying. Probably the president-elect should talk to NATO leaders for an interim increase in their Afghan troop deployment till President Biden can reverse that decision to bring most American troops back home. Now, the best thing or the best solution President-elect Joe Biden has got is he should go and request the NATO leaders and tell them to increase their soldiers' deployment in Afghanistan until he comes into power and reverse the decision taken by his predecessor. Now, before we move ahead, it is quite important for us to see what exactly the agreement was, what exactly was the deal. So, the United States signed a deal with the Taliban at Doha, Qatar's capital, and that could pave the way towards a full withdrawal of foreign soldiers from Afghanistan over the next 14 months and represent a step towards ending the 18-year civil war situation in Afghanistan. Along with this, a separate joint declaration was also signed between the Afghani government and the United States at Kabul. Now, the peace deal, which is proposed, will actually kick off in two processes. Now, the first process would be a phased withdrawal of US troops and also an intra-Afghan dialogue. Intra-Afghan dialogue means there shall be a dialogue between the Taliban and the Afghani government. The deal is said to be a fundamental step to deliver a comprehensive and permanent ceasefire and the future political roadmap for Afghanistan peace process. Now, some of the salient features of the deal, they are: number one, withdrawal of troops. The US will withdraw almost 8,600 troops in the next 135 days, and the NATO or the coalition troops will also be brought down. And all the troops will be out of Afghanistan within next 14 months. What was the commitment given by Taliban? Taliban have said that no member or individual or groups, including Al-Qaeda, would use the soil of Afghanistan to threaten the security of United States and its allies. The third salient feature is the removal of sanctions. The United Nations sanction on Taliban leaders would be removed by 3 months after the signing of the deal, and the United States sanction would be removed from all the Taliban leaders by August 27. There was also one more agreement that was about the releasing of the prisoners. Now, under this agreement, 5,000 prisoners from Taliban and 1,000 prisoners from the other side, that is the NATO forces, would be exchanged, would be swapped. Now, there were some of the challenges since the beginning of this deal. Many people, they have said that this deal is basically a one-sided deal and it is actually favoring a lot towards Taliban. People are saying that Taliban is known for strict religious laws, banishing women from public life, shutting down schools, unleashing systemic discrimination on religious and ethnic minorities. Taliban has not made any of these promises that it would respect the civil liberties that have been provided to the people of Afghanistan under the Afghani constitution. The idea of Taliban is basically Shariat-based system, and the Shariat-based system does not goes well with the existing constitution. So there are quite a few chances that once the troops are out of Afghanistan, Taliban once again can start with its own old drama of forcing a Shariat-based system. So this is something with the reference to the peace deal which was signed between Afghanistan, or you can say between United States of America and Taliban. Now, the present scenario. President Donald Trump's decision to reduce US troops in Afghanistan to 2,500 by January 15 put the region's stability and peace and the safety and security of countries beyond the region at great risk. Definitely, there is a tremendous amount of risk associated with the decision that Donald Trump has taken. There are several chances, not only for Afghanistan, but also for the neighboring countries. If the NATO troops and the American troops, they leave Afghanistan, the situation might get out of control. It will undo the gains made by the Afghan people over last nearly 2 decades, and this would severely hamper the advances that the Afghani troops, along with the NATO forces, they have made over the fight that was fought for over 2 decades. The elected Afghan government must be helped to expand size, capability and reach of official law enforcement and stabilize the emerging democracy being held hostage by Taliban and their sponsors, Islamabad. The focus should be on supporting the Afghanistani government to increase the size of their law enforcement agencies, to provide them help, and also measures of how to stabilize the democracy in Afghanistan, which actually is being held hostage by Taliban and its sponsor, Pakistan. See, the point is not only gaining the territorial extent, but also how many efforts have been put to stabilize or to make sure that the democratic institutions, the democratic norms are being followed. Several initiatives like ensuring education for girls, modernizing attitude. See, Afghanistan has got this view that now they want to live under a constitution and not under a Shariat based system. So if Taliban comes into picture, everything will be doomed. Especially, we all know what exactly is the attitude of Taliban towards women education, towards the civic liberties. So if any such things happen, then the fight that was fought for over 2 decades, it will go absolutely completely in vain. And we should not forget, now all these achievements, all these advances have been made at a very great cost that included both blood and money. And definitely, Americans too have lost their money as well as their lives. So the decision should be taken keeping in mind each and everything. The future ahead. Abandoning Afghanistan for the Taliban to take over would be an invitation to ratchet up terror directed against liberal streams of Afghan society. Besides, at India and the wider world beyond, not excluding the US itself. If Afghanistan is abandoned for Taliban to come once again and rule there, the situation is not going to be helpful for anyone, neither for Afghanistan nor for India, and also not for the entire world, because we have seen how the attacks of 9/11 took place and the mastermind was located where? He was located in Afghanistan, the chief of Al Qaeda at that point of time. Withdrawing the US troops should not squander the gains of the past or let Afghanistan once again become a launchpad for terror at large. The incoming US administration cannot ignore this challenge. The biggest challenge which the United States administration has right now in front of them is that if the US troops are removed, all the gains that have been made in the past will once again be under the control of Taliban, and chances are quite high that Afghanistan might become a launchpad for terrorists. So it is the responsibility of the coming American administration that they have to fight this situation in a very careful manner. So viewers, this was with today's editorial analysis. Now, the question that can be asked with reference to today's editorial is, the US-Taliban deal is a good step, but the road ahead would not be easy. Achieving lasting peace in Afghanistan will require patience and compromise among all parties. Discuss. So viewers, I hope you liked today's editorial analysis. Thank you very much.